heel, hand, hole, here, hike, mouth, thumb, tick, think, path, tree, thirst, thin, thread, hard, then, they, there, those, either, bath, clothed, with, bread, boot, sing, the, together, another, this, feathers, smoother, that, leather, rather, closest Miss Brothers, crumpets home, Cambridge, Smith, remember, small, him, smart, Tim, mom, time, homemade, calm, Tom Mickham, mother, I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. I scream, you scream, we all scream for ice cream. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very pussy, was he? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very pussy, was he? She sell wrong. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't very pussy, was he? She shall by seashore, and the shell she sells by the seashore, or she sell for sure. She sell by the seashore, and the shells she sell by the seashore, or she sell for sure. She sell by the seashore, and the shell she sell by the seashore, or she shell for sure. A sailor went to see what he could see. All he could see was sea, sea, sea. A sailor went to see what he could see. All he could see was sea, sea, sea. A sailor went to see what he could see. All he could was see was sea. All he could see was a sea, sea, sea. Sick, sick, hick, nick, sick, slick, bricks, with, picks, and stick. Sick, sick, hicks, nick, sick, slick, bricks, with picks and sticks. Sick, stick, hicks, nick, sick, slick, bricks, with picks and stick. How many snacks could a snack stacker stack? If a snack stacker stacked snack. How many snacks could a snack stacker stack? If a snack stacker stack snacks. How many snacks could a snack stacker stack? If a snack stacker stack snack. 12 twins twirl 12 twigs. 12 twins twirl 12 twigs. 12 twins twirl 12 twigs. Imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie. Imagine imaginary menagerie manager managing imaginary menagerie. Imagine an imaginary menagerie manager managing an imaginary menagerie. Lesser, leather, never, weather, 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 better. Lesser, leather, never, weather, 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 better. Lesser, leather, never, weather, 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 better. A twiddle, biddle, noodle, poodle, bottle, faddle, muddle, doodle, fuddle, woodle, box, and socks, sir. A twiddle, biddle, noodle, bottle, paddle, muddle, doodle, fuddle, waddle, box, and socks, sir. A twiddle, biddle, noodle, bottle, paddle, muddle, doodle, fuddle, waddle, box, and socks, sir. How much ground will groundhog hog if a groundhog could hog ground? A groundhog will hawk all the ground he could hawk. If a groundhog could hawk ground, how much ground will a groundhog hawk? If a groundhog could hawk around, a groundhog will hawk all the ground he could hawk. If a groundhog could hawk ground, how much ground will a groundhog hawk? If a groundhog could hawk around, a groundhog will hawk all the ground he could hawk. If a groundhog could hawk ground. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, but a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, what a peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, what a heck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Betty Butter brought some butter, but she said the butter bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter will make my batter better. So it was better. Betty Butter brought a bit of better butter. Betty Butter brought some butter, but she said the butter bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter will make my batter better. So it was better. Betty Butter brought a bit of butter. Betty Butter brought some butter, but she said the butter's bitter. If I put it in my batter, it will make my batter bitter. But a bit of better butter will make my batter better. So it was better. So it was better. Betty Butter brought a bit of better butter. How much wood will a woodchuck chop? If a woodchuck could chop wood, he would chop. He would as much as he could, and chop as much wood as woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chop wood. How much wood will woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He will chuck, he will as much as he could, and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. How much wood will a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? He will as much as he could, and chuck as much wood as a woodchuck would if a woodchuck could chuck wood. I thought, but a thought, I thought, wasn't a thought, I thought. If the thought, I thought, had been the thought, I wouldn't have thought, I thought. I thought, but the thought, I thought, wasn't the thought, I thought. If the thought, I thought, had been the thought, I would have been thought, I thought. I thought, but the thought, wasn't the thought, I thought. If the thought, I thought, had been the thought, I wouldn't have thought, I thought. A long time ago, there lived a wealthy and affluent king in a faraway kingdom. He had a very beautiful daughter of a marriageable age named Afyong. All the young men in the country wanted to marry her, but she refused all offer of her marriage. Most of the rich old men asked for her hand in marriage, but she called them old and ugly. Appian was very proud and vain. In spite of repeated entreaties from her parents, she refused to marry any man from her land. She vowed to marry a rich prince from a faraway kingdom. Her prince will be the best looking man in the entire world. He'll be strong and perfect in every way and capable of loving her probably. So Appian, the princess, continued to disobey her parent, at which they were very much grieved. One day, there was commotion within the village. What could be happening? People inquired. Not long after the news got to the palace. A very fine man had been seen in the market, who was better looking than any of the natives. Apyong rushed to the market at once. Directly she saw the most handsome man she had ever set her eyes on. She fell in love immediately, invited him to her house. The prince was delighted and went home with her. On his arrival, the handsome prince was introduced by Appion to her parents. The prince immediately asked her consent to marry their daughter. At first they refused, as they did not wish her to marry a stranger, but at last they agreed. He lived with Appion for 2 days in her parents' house, then said he wished to take his wife back to his country, which was far off. To this the princess readily agreed, as he was such a fine man, but her parents tried to persuade her not to go. However, being very headstrong, she made up her mind to go, and they started off together. It was a sad day for the kingdom, for the king and queen. After walking several days, Apia and husband crossed the border between the spirit land and the human land. Immediately they set foot in the spirit land. Strange things began to happen. First of all, one man came to the prince and demanded his leg. Then another his head. Then the next his body, and so on. To be made the prince was left for nothing but a skull. The prince became terrified. She could not understand what would happen to her handsome prince. The prince then left. The prince confessed that the princess was now seeing him in his natural state. He had borrowed all his body parts from other spirits so he would look human when he went to ask for her hand in marriage. In fact, his entire body consisted only a human skull. The princess wanted to return home, but the skull would not allow this and ordered her to go with him. When they arrived at the skull house, they found his mother, who was a very old woman, quite incapable of doing any work. She could only creep about. Apyeon tried her best to help her and cook her food and brought water and firewood to the old woman for the old women. The old creature was very grateful for this attention and soon became quite fond of Apyeon. One day, the old woman felt very sorry for Apyeon and decided to help her. She promised to send her back to her country as soon as possible, providing that she promised that in the future she will obey her parent. This Apyeongil consented to do. Then the old woman sent for the spider, who was a very clever hairdresser, and made him dress Apyeong hair in the latest fashion. She also presented her with the anklet and other things on account of her kindness. She then used her supernatural power to call the breeze to gently carry Apyeong to her father's kingdom. Soon afterward, the breeze deposited Apyeong outside of her home and left her there. When the king and the queen saw the daughter, they were very glad, as they had for some months given up her as lost. They were feasting and dancing throughout the kingdom for 8 days and nights. Afterward, the king passed a law that parents should never allow their daughter to marry a stranger who came from a far country. Then a prince come from a neighboring village came to ask Appian for hand in marriage, and she willingly consented and lived with him for many years and had many children.